Angst is a 1983 psychological horror film directed by Gerard Kargl. A killer is released from prison and he immediately goes on a mission to find someone else to murder. That's it. That's the entire plot. The only other aspect apart from that very simple plot is a voiceover where he talks about he's talking to himself about the moment he realised he was a killer, and it's all these sort of events in his childhood that led him to become a psychopath and to be in prison. Everything like that. And I don't know if that stuff is necessary. It's a bit like at the end of Psycho where everything's explained. But I've said before that the sort of genius of Halloween and Michael Myers in the first one is that it doesn't explain anything of it. So that's sort of where the horror comes from. But I don't know, I think in this film maybe an explanation is needed because it goes beyond... The realism of it is beyond Halloween. As you know, in Halloween Michael Myers is barely even human. He's more just a symbol of I don't know, repression. He's some sort of id monster, and like they referred to him as the Shape. So he isn't a person as much. So there is like also he smashes that window and stuff. There's a supernatural element to him. It's more of a supernatural invasion than in this one where it's just a straight home invasion. Like this Halloween's more realistic than most horror films, but this one's like the realism is right up there because. Like I said, the plot is really simple. He's released from prison. He goes to a diner, thinks about murdering some women there, gets in a taxi. He goes off and he ends up at this house. And that's the whole film. It almost happens in real time. That's what's so disturbing about it. It's not like in Halloween. Michael Myers escapes from this mental facility that's been holding him. And in this one, he's released. Apparently rehabilitated, but he's clearly not because he immediately reoffends massively. So I don't even know if this is a horror film. It's a sort of art house horror film because I don't know if its purpose is to scare you, or I don't know. It seems something deeper, like it just really wants to mess your head up.
Ich gelaufen bin, das weiß ich nicht mehr.
I don't think it's a sort of film where it's like, you better bring your kids up right or this is going to happen. And I don't think it's sort of siding with the psychopath, but I think it's just a sort of objective view of like, this is sort of the worst that can happen if things go wrong. If things constantly go wrong, then, the system's failed him, his parents have failed him, and he has just all these feelings of insecurity and need, and the only way that he can feel that his life is worthwhile is by murdering people. And even then, he's not even very good at that. So yeah, as I said, it all happens in a sort of real time. The editing for the most part just lets the scenes play out. Then there are bits where there's a sort of mania that's unleashed that's quite incredible because the cinematography the cinematography is very sort of grim looking, but it doesn't look like it's trying to be grim. It just looks like that's what Austria looked like in the 80s. They haven't tried to jazz it up. They haven't tried to make it look special, but they have done this very strange thing with the camera. That's it. Kind of at times it puts you in his point of view. Like when it gets manic and the editing speeds up, the way the camera moves around him and he spins around the other way and stuff like that. We've kind of seen that done before, but it's never as effective. I saw a trailer the other day, and I was like, they're doing that shot again. When someone's just stood in the middle of a city, and there's all the lights around them, and the camera spins around them slowly, and they're like that again. But this one. This one, it's just so much more manic because it's attached to him as well, and it's really strange that he spins the wrong way and spins that way, and it happens quite a lot. Sometimes it happens in very short scenes as well, where he'll just suddenly spin into there. So it's really unpredictable when he'll start spinning out and losing it, and it kind of puts you in his position. It's sort of his point of view, but then there's also the really high angle that I've rarely seen that in anything else. But it's almost like you've got his POV, but you're having an out-of-body experience. It's so weird, and maybe it's because it's so unique that it kind of puts you in a place that's unfamiliar to you. I think that's maybe it, because no one's really done that. Like, clearly Gaspar Noé was influenced by this, and he has done some shots like that. Though I think I Stand Alone, he got even deeper into the psychology of the character. I think by throwing more day-to-day stuff in there. 'Cause in this film, his voiceover and being in his head, he's only talking about the horrors in his life. He never says something like, "Oh, I could really have a jambutti right now," or something like that. I don't know if he says anything like that in I Stand Alone, but there's a lot of everyday things that he says and then contradicts himself in that film. But yeah, Gaspar Noé definitely took some of the camera work from this, but not all of it. Not that fixed position floating thing. I don't really know how to explain why he would come up with that, or sort of what the logic is behind it, but it works. Because I think because it's so unique, because you just think, why are we up here? It's such a strange place to be, looking down on someone the whole time and then spinning around them. It's really effective just in creating this mad, what would you even call it? This sort of mad mindscape that you're trapped in. Like I said, everything almost happens in real time. Everything's just so excruciatingly slow that you find yourself looking at every little detail and really taking in every part of that world. Yeah, it's just such a great job of just making this mad mind and this mad world exist. And the main actor's perfectly cast. He has this sort of look of, he's kind of scrawny, but he just looks, he doesn't look right. He's sort of a bit sort of insecty. But when you get to the close-ups, you kind of feel something more for him. He has a look of sort of, he has a sort of internal pain look. It's hard to explain. He's kind of menacing but kind of pathetic at the same time, and he's kind of sad but horrible at the same time. And I don't know if that's just, if you could do that with just a close-up, or because I've spent this whole time with him, the whole 90 minutes. Yeah, I think it is because you spend so much time with him and you go through this different journey and you see him fail and fail again, and you don't want him to succeed, but you just think, ugh, poor guy. Poor, sad, pathetic killer. Anyway, so yeah, it's a performance that leaves a lasting impression, as does the score by Klaus Schulze, who started his musical career in Ashra Temple. So if you ever want to pretend that you're at an acid party, you should listen to the first Ashra Temple. It's amazing. Not related to this at all, but check it out. Anyway, that was Angst. Angst, totally unique experience. Yeah, incredible main performance. Just mad camera work. Mad camera work that's really flashy, but somehow personal. I don't know how. It just works. Everything just works. It's the sort of film that you need a wash after. But not in there. There's other films I've seen that have really tried to be really dark and disgusting, and they don't pull it off. I don't know why. This one doesn't seem to be trying that hard. I think it's almost like it just doesn't care whether you're disgusted or not. It's just like, this is it, have it or not. So yeah, Angst, disturbing, incredible, unforgettable. Check it out. Have you already seen it? What did you think? What are the darkest films you've ever seen? Tell us in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and I'll be back next week with another reviews on realism. And we're done with horrors now, so it's going to be back to the gritty kitchen sink. Oh yeah.